And welcome to the Shuttlecast. My name is Sal.
I'm Josiah.
And I'm Nathan.
And I apologize for my audio if it's ever bad at all. It's really hot, and I'm dying, so that's my fans blowing. Thank you.
It's not worth the heat stroke of getting cleaner audio. So
yeah, I was like, you know what? It's a weekly podcast. If 1 week during the heat wave I don't sound the best because I'm trying to not die, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
So, welcome everybody. It's another week. It's when you're listening to this, it should be July 10th. We're operating off of July 9th information. So if something bad happens in the intro,
so July 10th never comes. You know, we apologize.
Then that's awkward. We're sorry. It's probably our fault. It's okay.
Who did this?
But anyway, should we start with our homework?
Homework.
Yes.
Yeah. Did anyone do
your homework was Supergirl of tomorrow.
Yes.
The Woman of Tomorrow.
So our homework was I was going to read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and you two were going to read Hellboy, the Crooked Man.
Okay.
I said that facetiously. But
well, I'll have that ready for next week. I promise.
Wow. So I've read both.
Maybe.
Yeah, you did. I was busy passing you in Liza P.
You were. That's why that's why I was able to read it because I was.
I was busy getting a house, so I was like, oh.
Yeah, fuck you.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
We expanded the soundboard, everybody. So. It's good.
Excellent.
So I read. All right, so that's not. I didn't read all. I technically did read The Crooked Man, but the copy I got was The Crooked Man and the Return of Effie Kolb.
Okay, so it was a trade you got.
Yeah. So I didn't read the Effie Kolb story just because I didn't have time.
Good.
But it does connect to The Crooked Man, so I feel like maybe the movie might do both stories, because the Crooked Man story in the comic, and this is all going off of our conversation last week where we watched the Hellboy, the Crooked Man trailer. Mm-hmm. So it's like 70-something pages is the Crooked Man. Okay. And then the Effie
it's a short story.
Is the rest of the comic, which is like another 50 or 60 pages long.
Okay.
Dang, maybe I can read it during the podcast then.
I actually read this in the hour before the podcast. I was eating a late lunch salad, and I was like, I will read Hellboy. Because I thought I would be a part of the conversation.
Hey, I looked at the issue cover of The Crooked Man where I saw the shovel with the crucifix on it, so that actually made me more hyped in the trailer because that was already a part I liked in the trailer. So, you know, now I can nerd out.
Good for you. And how was it?
I'm gonna rub chilies into your eyes.
So I guess I'm gonna give a review of The Crooked Man real quick. It was good.
Yeah.
It was very short. Yeah, it was very much it happens in like a night. But I mean, I've never read Hellboy before, but it was a nice story. It was a nice short story. And I think it would be really fun to watch as like a 90-minute movie, honestly. If anything, I'm sure they might do both this story and then the next one that ties to it, because that might be more of like a solid like movie. Because I will admit the Crooked Man kind of ends and you're like, oh well, anyway, that's the bad guys. You're like, okay. I guess.
How would you say it is as like on the very off chance, although I'm sure it's not unthinkable, but let's say if this was your first Hellboy story, how would it do?
Oddly enough, both Hellboy the Crooked Man and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow are like self-contained stories about this established character set like during their adventures that also are not about their origin story, but also kind of can serve as you learning their origin story.
Right.
There is like, I think 2 pages in this that are about Hellboy's origin, and then another page later that it comes back. So like you go over the whole like he was found in a church by people in the story. So like, and pretty early on they establish it. So I feel like you could just, this could be your first one. You could say, well, why is he, what's a Hellboy? And he says, oh, well, I was found in a church when I was a kid and now I do stuff. And you can go, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, and Hellboy it'll oscillate between doing these collections of short stories and then these full-on arcs that tie together to lead into the ending. Because Hellboy is a comic book that actually has an ending. It's more like a manga in that way. Actually.
Oh my god! A comic ending?
Yeah, it has a definitive ending. Yeah.
Did you? I'm sorry. Are you telling me there's an end to the cash cow?
Yes. Yeah, so I know great. I like how that one's a bit quieter than the others. Anyway, so the thing about Hellboy is, I believe, now correct, if someone in the comments wants to correct me, I believe like the BPRD and I think like Abe Sapien, like they get some stuff that's kind of got like the BPRD comic, like which is the general Hellboy universe comic that I think has gone on, but the character of Hellboy has an ending, and it happens at Hellboy in Hell. Oh, the final arc. So.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, damn. Now I might actually have to read this.
I know. We might have to do a Hellboy book club section.
It would be good. I mean, again, I've only read the first, like, I think 2 arcs and then the first collection of short stories, but it's really good. I like it.
See, you should, cross-promotional pitch. You should do something like that with the Fictitious Dark, since it's so much of him running into fantasy characters.
Well, absolutely. That's why I'm pushing that. Obviously, we're going to cover the Crooked Man on that podcast, and then maybe I'll have like I convince the guys to do a general podcast on like the first 3 films. I could probably get them to commit to that.
What a good segue crossover.
It would be. That would be an insane crossover.
The penultimate podcast.
There we go.
But of course, the Fictitious Shuttle. Yeah.
Yes.
The Dark Cast.
Oh my god! I'll super high contrast the the escape pod background that we have, and we'll just all go our faces.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. The Dark Cast. Yeah.
That's October.
There you go. Yeah. So I when does the Crooked Man come out? October, November, around then?
Shit, I don't know actually.
I just read the comic. I didn't actually look up anything else about it.
That's all right. That's all right.
Jamie, can you look that up?
Yeah.
Jamie, can you pull that up?
Hellboy the Crooked Man. I'll do it. I'm good. 2024.
They don't have a date.
They don't have a date.
It's a movie, and the Wikipedia still says that filming. Oh, sorry, it began in 2023. I misread for a second. Yeah, okay, cool.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Nice.
All right. Well, hey, if there's let's see. I'm seeing September 19th, 2024 in
that
Brazil.
Right. Okay.
So hopefully, I don't think Brazil would get it first, but maybe.
Brazil deserves something, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I've got August 30th in Spain. United Kingdom. Where the fuck is it?
So it's probably in the
US?
It's probably going to arrive here like late.
The earliest release is in Spain, August 30th. The latest is in the United Kingdom, October 4th.
That's amazing.
Okay. So
it'll probably be October 1st here or something.
Yeah. But I'm interested. I mean, the story is like not very grand, and it's nice. It's cool. It's a nice like Americana South like horror story.
And see, that's kind of what I want. Again, we've talked about it.
Yeah. It's
but,
3 issues, and then
yeah,
the Effie Cop stuff is 2 issues.
Oh yeah. Condense that down into one 90-minute movie.
That's so doable.
That's
amazing. Give me more of that.
It's a good move. Again,
Shit.
I think this is the right move to do. I don't think you should start trying to tackle the grandest of the grand Hellboy stories.
One thing I really don't like about certain stories is like as much as I do appreciate and understand the need for an origin, I do like the kind of like the Berserk approach where in the manga it's just like, okay, he's already the Black Swordsman, he's already hunting down the Apostle, he's already doing his thing. And then once like you're invested in that and interested, then we can go back and like show you like how we got there. Also like by doing that, you set up like the tone of what you want the story to be in the long run. Because I remember when I watched Berserk, when I showed it to my friend for the first time, he was like, "Whoa, wait, it gets all demony. I thought this was gonna be like about like knights and politics and stuff." And I was like, "No, the rest of this is now about monsters." And he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So there is a benefit to like starting, I guess, like in media res, or like you're already kind of a bit of along the ways, and then stepping back once everything's been like established and you give a shit, to then tell a different story that is more of like a here's how we got here kind of tale.
It's like that's kind of how like Star Wars kind of gets to have its cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We started at episode 4, but it is also an origin story for the characters of this time period.
It functions both ways. It's one of those things.
I was having this problem when I started watching the League of Legends show Arcane, and the first 2 or 3 episodes is like the main characters as kids, and I was kind of like, all right, whatever, this is okay. And then once they're adults and like the plot's kicked up the notch, I'm like, oh fuck yeah, let's go. And I'm like, why'd I have to sit through the fucking episodes of the kids before I got to like the good? And then like I watched, speaking of Star Wars, I watched The Acolyte, and the first 2 episodes are in the current time, and then episode 3 jumps back to their like backstory, and I'm like, oh thank God, I'm already invested in these characters as like adults, so now I can appreciate them going back and seeing them as kids, and I have my first interpretation of, or I guess my first perception of them being dumb young kids who don't know any better.
I think you're one of the only people online who would talk about The Acolyte being far superior to Arcane in any aspect. Not that I'm weighing in on it. I'm just...
Yeah, no, I mean just in like it's how it decided to present the story. I feel like is a I much prefer. I want to start us off where like we're gonna be for most of the time, and then take a step back once we have like our chessboard set up to see how we bought the chess set.
Yeah. I can see it.
I am caught up on The Acolyte, by the way.
Oh, see, I don't know enough about it.
You don't know enough about anything. You didn't even do your fucking homework.
I just ate.
Oh, good for you! And how was it?
Buying a house.
But you also read the Supergirl comics. So you should talk about that.
Okay, I'll start there. You're right. I read the Supergirl comic by Tom King, 2022. I didn't realize it was so recent. It was.
And we have confirmation that this is what the Supergirl movie is adapted.
Yeah, right? This is the Supergirl movie.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I think James Gunn did a pretty good thing when he did his whole bit. I mean, I didn't really like his whole like, "Hey everyone, here's the future of the DC whatever."
That was so weird.
Because I think people were complaining that he didn't have a vision or whatever. Then so he was like, "All right, I do have a vision," but then what the vision said was the next 4 movies coming out don't matter.
That was bold. He was basically saying like, hey, yeah, there's like 4 movies, and also Blue Beetle is like we're keeping him. But Superman's the real start of it. It's like a way to shoot yourself in the foot there. I don't know if that's like a...
Oh fuck, I should have been writing down the topics. Hold on. Yeah, keep talking about Superman.
But yeah, what an odd thing to say. Imagine if you were like, you're getting people into the MCU, and you were like, yeah, the Avengers is where it starts mattering. But like, we're gonna have these other like dumb movies before that you can.
That's how it felt, bro. It was weird.
It's like, wait a minute.
And honestly, I didn't watch the next couple movies that came out because I was like, well, these kind of don't matter.
The weirdness of the Peacemaker season 2 being canon but not season 1. That reminds me of some Star Wars shit. Like, like Son of Dathomir is canon. But not these other comics. Even though that's also a dark horse and not Marvel. You know, it's just really like convoluted.
Tarkin is canon, but not Darth Plagueis, and it's like,
yes,
well, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it references Dark Plagueis like every other chapter, but you know that book ain't canon. It's just Tarkin. Okay,
it's very weird they decide to pick and choose to be canon.
No,
which I feel like is sort of what James Gunn is doing with his Peacemaker show.
You know, it's also kind of comic booky, right? Where it's like, oh, this story exists in like 3 or 4 different continuities, and it's like, okay,
yeah, like Batman Year One, where that was originally supposed to be like, you know, like it was kind of supposed to be mainline continuity, but not really.
Yeah,
and they retrofitted it. It was the same thing with the Killing Joke. That was weird, where that wasn't supposed to be canon to the main line, and then over time they want Barbara Gordon to be Oracle, so they're just like, yeah, Killing Joke's just canon. Like,
I mean, fuck, they're like we talked about last week a little bit. They're now absorbing and bastardizing Watchmen into more and more shit. So it's like, nothing is sacred when it comes to comic book continuity.
What you said about the Killing Joke maybe is what my worry is with the Robert Pattinson Batman movie.
Yep. That's exactly right. Yep.
I talked about it last week. Are we going to see Robert Pattinson Batman meet David Corn's sweet Superman? You know,
God.
Scary
stuff. It could, whatever. But yes,
I'm sure if anyone can do it, it's the director of The Flash when he does his Brave and the Bold. So
fuck, dude. I mean, listen, this breaks the tie, right? This movie breaks his tie of shit and greatness.
It's got to be a mixture. It's got to be the most mediocre of
this is his like ultimate like it's the best of the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, like you're gonna get half of it's gonna be great, and then half of it's not gonna be great. You know, it's like that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be like
in chapter 2, where first you're like, okay, and then it's like, fuck, what are they doing? Why'd they play that during a jump scare? Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but during that big James Gunn thing, he did a cool thing where he announced the next couple projects they're doing, and then B also said, and we're basing it off of this comic. Go buy it right now.
That is what you're supposed to do, because you know people going on Wikipedia will go, oh, this is based on these 3 stories, but to have him go, I want you to go buy this comic, and so I'm inviting the comparison. So I am trying to adapt it, not just pilfer it.
Not just it's Thor: Love and Thunder, and we use the same panel structure sometimes, but that's about it.
So Thor Ragnarok being a horrifyingly bastardized version of Planet Hulk will never like sit right with me. That's just horrible.
But Ragnarok was good. It really fell off during Love and Thunder.
Right. Yeah. That's the consensus amongst people, and I never.
I'm going to rub chilies into your eyes.
They were both bad.
They both sucked the same reason.
Yeah,
it's not my fault
so
that you
funny.
only saw the reasons for Love and Thunder.
Oh my god, it was so funny when because I didn't obviously see Love and Thunder, but then everyone was saying why it was bad, and I was like, that's what I said about fucking Ragnarok. Like the exact same criticism, like verbatim, word for word. They stole my whole fucking beat, flow for bar for bar, man.
I do think that some people, you know, had an epiphany, circled back and was like, oh yeah, Ragnarok does suck, and it's like, you only saw it in theaters, didn't you? Yeah, I'm sure you had a great time with your friends.
Hey, well, so did we, but you know.
But I want to be by myself with my friends. I can't even imagine watching this on my own.
Hey, but you two held me back, and I don't appreciate you for that.
Well, right. we all had our moments.
No, that was the best part, was if we had all agreed at the same time, then we would have left. But we were like, no, let's give it a little longer. And then we wanted to die, and it was too late. The other person was already consigned to like tough it out. And then we're like, well, I can't beg. I can't beg. That's not manly. You know, I gotta tough it out.
Help me.
I was like hovered over, ready to go, and I was like, wait, I didn't click it yet.
I hovered for a couple seconds.
That was great.
But yeah, so Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Yes.
It's 8 issues, and it does, I think issue 5, if I remember correctly, is basically her backstory. Of like how she her point of view of Krypton's destruction and a couple years after, or a year or so after.
Which that'll work okay since she is Superman, and then we're gonna circle back.
That's right. See, let me care about her, and then go back and say, "Hey, this is how she got here," and I'll appreciate it so much more. People really like to dunk on the idea of the prequel, say, "Oh, well, like I know what's gonna happen," and it's like, okay, but I know what's gonna happen in every story. Eventually, they're all gonna fucking die. All right, I always know the ending. Okay,
well, that's
life, baby.
Well, we live in the age where there is no ending, so
I disagree. Yeah, it's like
we're in the age of things just stop getting new installments and then they get bought up and then remade from the beginning again. It's great.
Who did this?
But Supergirl, One of Tomorrow, Supergirl, it's interesting. She's not the point of view character. It's some girl named Ruth who is the point of view. And she's like an alien on some planet. And her father is murdered. And
your father has been murdered.
Yeah, I'm about to say we should have the fucking clip ready to go.
Well, it's red. That's the unfortunate thing.
Oh, did you try to put that in?
No, just I'm picturing the scene.
Oh, that's right. It doesn't actually happen. We just say it. That's right. That's one of those things that got distorted in time.
Fine, then we're gonna record it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hire whoever was in that movie in that scene to be like, hey, could you actually say? So I can dub it in.
I'm sure they're on Cameo. You know,
yeah, just gotta dub it in. What's that a quote from? So people aren't confused. It's from the movie
Man with the Iron Fists, which was directed by the RZA and produced by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, there's a scene where someone gets a letter, and I think it was either you, Josiah, or it was John who said your father's been murdered.
Yeah.
And whenever they got the letter, and it popped us. It was so funny. But
that was fantastic.
So yeah, Ruth's father gets murdered, and so she goes on a quest for vengeance because the murderer left the sword behind that they used to kill her father.
Wait a minute. What is this? A Redwater legend?
It's funny what this actually is. I'll get to that in a moment. So she goes to the local town, and she's looking, and she's trying to find some sellsword mercenary to hunt down her father's killer. And this one guy's like, I will, but give me the sword first, and then I'll go tell you, and you can live with the knowledge that your father's been avenged. She's like, no, fuck that. And then they stumble into some woman drinking in the corner. And we get introduced to very drunk and very foul-mouthed Supergirl, who is wearing normal clothes over her Supergirl outfit. And then she drunkenly defeats the brigand. And you find out that she's on this planet celebrating her 21st birthday on this planet with not a yellow sun, so that she can get drunk.
Okay,
that's funny.
Which then leads to the events where she gets injured in battle. Some other things happen, and the brigand who killed Ruth's father escapes in Supergirl's spaceship. So now we're on a quest to go hunt him down, and Supergirl is kind of not at full strength for a lot of it. They go to a lot of planets and they deal with a lot of problems, and basically it's intergalactic true grit with Supergirl.
Okay,
yeah, that makes sense.
And then in one of the chapters and issues, as Supergirl is doing a task that takes a long time across the galaxy, we get her flashback, her backstory, and it's fucking hype. It's so good. And of course, the art's fantastic, and the ending is interesting. I'm still unsure about if I'm positive or negative about it. It's a sort of ambiguous ending, and I've seen reviews where people are like, "I love this," or "This is the worst thing since my son."
Sure.
So it's a bit divided. I personally think it was great. I think I do like the ending, but I'm not. Again, I gotta stew on it a bit more. But essentially, it's a space western in this very beautiful cosmic setting, and it's Supergirl and being drunk and swearing all the time.
So is she bitter and depressed, or just it's her 21st, so she wants to get drunk?
Yeah. It's her 21st. She wants to get drunk.
Okay. Because when you said that she was, in regular clothes and drunk, I was like, oh no, is this like Supergirl film noir and drinking away sorrows, or
no?
But we stumbled upon her partying by herself.
I'm wasted.
Okay.
Hey, and she has crypto with her, so it's fine.
Aw, well, hey, he's getting set up in Superman spoilers, but
Oh, nice. See, this is great. I think also Comet is in it too. The super horse.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Of course, she's a horse girl.
Yes. But it's great. I'm excited for the movie. Honestly, it made me hyped to see it, and also very scared to see it, because now that I've read it, now I'm a snob about it.
That's the curse. That's the curse. Knowledge, creates
cursed with knowledge.
I'm scared that the director of Cruella is doing the movie.
Oof.
I know. Say what you will about the Eternals, but that director had a fucking eye for visuals. I would have much rather have had her on board.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's made, actually good movies.
Yeah.
She's probably got some sort of MCU contract.
Yeah, probably.
Not compete.
Hey, we promise let you do Eternals 2 eventually. Just don't go to DC and do Supergirl, please.
Please, God, we'll give you so much money.
We'll do it as soon as Blade comes out, we promise.
Fuck.
Who did this?
Unfortunately, my algorithm is now filled with Deadpool Wolverine stuff.
Oh God.
Which that hasn't been the best.
Oh yeah. Speaking of, in my X-Men watch through.
Yes, give us an update on that. You've been covering it, and I believe you've crossed into the you finished the prequel stuff.
Yes.
Dark Phoenix.
Yes, I finished the First Class quadrilogy, which went out with a fart. I can't believe Dark Phoenix was even worse than The Last Stand.
It's way worse.
It's the one I haven't seen yet.
It's
boy.
Yeah, it's not good.
I've seen all of them except for Dark Phoenix.
Wait till you hear the best F-bomb in all of the First Class movies.
That's right.
I really hope we get a cut of Supergirl, like on the home release. It's like hidden where it's the uncensored swearing.
That's what's going to get James Gunn canceled again.
Damn it.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nathan, sir.
So I did those. I did New Mutants, which, boy howdy. Origins of Wolverine, which was a lot of fun. But I also finished Legion and started The Gifted. So I will say season 3 of Legion turns it around significantly.
The season 2 slump, dude. The season 2 slump is real.
Season 2 slump.
What do we do?
I will even say, and this might be a hot take, but I think the character interpretation for Legion, Harry Lloyd's young Charles Xavier, is actually better than James McAvoy's.
What?
Yeah. I'm just saying.
From Dragon's father.
I think. But no, they do a really good job where, because the thing is, as much as I love James McAvoy's Xavier, he is literally just Professor Xavier but younger. Like it feels like he's pretty much self-actualized at that point. He's still in this authority position where he's very good at helping people through their problems and everything like that.
A very groovy mutation.
Yeah, precisely. But you're Harry Lloyd.
Sorry.
They do a really good job of having him be younger, be inexperienced. Like he's not the immediate game changer in any situation. Like he's still learning. But it's really interesting. Like it's very cool. Like this is, it's a time travel story. So this is him encountering his first fellow telepath and just being completely unprepared for it. it's very cool. He's only in 3 episodes out of 8, which is sad. But 2 of those are the last 2, and all of his shit with the villain, with David, the lead of Legion, and it's all very, very good. So I think ending on that, I would recommend watching Legion.
Okay.
Nice.
Get a little inebriated for season 2 because it gets wackadoodle and all over the place, directionless, I would say. But it's very artsy. And then season 3 pulls it all together in the end, and it's great.
I'm gonna love 2 the most. So.
Oh, there you go, perfect. But then I started The Gifted, which that is a Fox show. We've moved from FX to Fox.
Oh God!
And you feel that. The effects are worse, the performances are flat, the dialogue is whatever, it's so funny because it's set in this world where the X-Men's and the Brotherhood of Mutants are gone. We don't know how, so now it's all of the B and C characters of the X-Men comics. And they're being chased by Sentinel Services, which is a government agency, and you might think that they're 1/3 as effective as the Sentinel robots, but they cost 1/10 to use for cable TV, so we're perfect. So I'm about 5 or 6 episodes in.
And that just had 1 season, right?
No,
or did
it has 2.
That had 2. That's longer than Legion.
And
wait,
season 1 is 13 episodes. Season 2 is 16 episodes.
Oh,
that's right.
God.
Yeah.
Cable, bro.
This is my fault. I reverse made this happen by wanting longer seasons. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Fuck you. You summoned this.
I guess I have to watch it now.
So The Gifted so far is like, if you were, obviously it's difficult to rank films and TV shows, but this would be like the most mediocre of the X-Men franchise.
Yeah, it's like it's like a it's like a knockoff of Heroes with an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. budget. And
these screenshots scream Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Very negative connotation.
Absolutely.
I love every episode title in season 1 has a the only capitalized letter is X.
It's real sneaky that way. Did you get it?
Not at all. And 2 it's M for Magneto.
Because there's
do they try to do Sorry.
There's a character who is Magneto's daughter in the comics. I don't know if they acknowledge it in the show.
Do they try to do House of M? That'd be exciting. It's a comic book that you wouldn't get it.
I wouldn't get it. I don't read comics.
I read comic books. I would get it.
It's got the Mutant Underground, which is another faction, I guess. But yeah, there's basically 2 big storylines. One is a family that's on the run where they just found out that their kids are mutants, and the other is the Mutant Underground who help people to disappear, because if I had to guess, I think what makes the most sense is that this is in a timeline where the events of X2 happened, and then something happened that made the X-Men and the Brotherhood of the Mutant disappear before they could meet with the president. So there's like harsher regulations on mutants, but people still know about the X-Men.
Who did this?
I do appreciate
first
you.
Directed by Bryan Singer.
Wow, that's great.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay.
It sucks too. You if you didn't look it up. So,
he was technically on set.
Yeah.
Bryan Singer did do Jack the Giant Killer. That's all I'm saying.
No one's infallible.
That was great.
I will say, I wanted to say this earlier. The guy who showran Legion, Noah Hawley, was also responsible for Fargo, and that had a similar thing where season 1 was like brilliant, and season 2 kind of sucked.
I have a weird thing with Fargo, man, where I've watched the first episode so many times, but I never get past it.
It's a great show. Season 1's great. That's what I'll say. It's like True Detective. Season 1 is worth going through, in my opinion.
Okay.
He's also being made
Alien.
the showrunner of the new Alien show, which
There's an Alien show?
Yes.
there's gonna be.
Fuck.
Yeah, there's Romulus from Fede Alvarez, and then there's Noah Hawley is doing some kind of alien show that is set on Earth, I believe.
Is Neil Blomkamp gonna do anything about that? Or
No,
Who?
no, he is excommunicado.
Who did this?
Ridley Scott, probably.
Fucker.
Yeah.
Speaking
They
of
were
Ridley
like-
Scott,
Oh,
Yes,
fuck
thank
me.
you. Okay,
Gladiator
we
2.
all watched this trailer,
I watched
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it one. Yeah, Gladiator 2. They've been threatening it for years. They've literally been like breaking into homes, like telling people to beware.
Have they?
Mine, yes.
Oh shit! You should probably call someone. Sorry, I panicked. I didn't know which one to click.
That was great.
There we go.
The gift from Draco's father.
So Gladiator, I'm curious to, before we go into the trailer, real quick, what are our we've all seen Gladiator, of course.
Yeah.
Sal, you've seen it, right?
Not recently enough to tell you anything about it other than the Oliver Reed story.
That's okay. You've seen it though, and so I think like most people consider Gladiator to be, if not if not a perfect film, a really good, like if not a great film, a really good film. I think that's a pretty cold take in my opinion.
Yes.
And then to come back 25 years later and do this.
Who did this?
What is the point of this? I thought Ridley Scott was trying to like do original projects because he didn't want to fall down this rabbit hole, but now he caved and he's doing Gladiator 2.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it looks fine. I didn't have any problems with it really.
It looked like the 300 Rise of an Empire,
No.
I'll say it looked better than that.
Yeah, that's pretty rude of you, actually.
I'm saying like
that's pretty fucking.
Rub cheese into your eyes.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
Okay,
Sorry.
Cease.
Ceasefire. No one touched the soundboard for 2 minutes.
That's the sound we need. We need the Max Keeble.
Or silence.
But anyway, my point is that this looks like fine, but definitely like bizarre.
I will say to adapt both of your arguments. I think that this looks like the 300 Rise of an Empire to Gladiators 300, and Gladiator
that's what I'm saying.
is a significantly better film than 300, and thus 300 or Gladiator 2 looks much better than.
I see what you're saying. Okay,
that's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to use math. I'm just trying to use a scale.
Just the gulf in quality.
Yeah. I'm not trying to say no. This looks better than Rise of an Empire. I'm not. In no way am I saying.
You're saying comparatively to its original. That's what this is.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's fair. I take back the things I said and did to you.
Oh, sorry. You don't have to. It was funny.
I will say. I mean, as someone who as someone who has no nostalgia for Gladiator whatsoever, I'm interested in this one. I mean, that Joseph Quinn guy, he was really good in A Quiet Place, so I'm interested in what he'll do in this as the Emperor character. I like Pedro Pascal, obviously, and Denzel Washington, so that's easy for me. I gotta say something real quick. This Paul Mescal guy, who's like I think the lead, basically the new Spartacus, if you will. I don't know him, and yet I feel like this is just my timeline on Twitter for the past 2 or 3 years. I've heard people talk about him, but I've never seen him in anything ever. So this will be it's kind of like Joseph Quinn for me, where everyone talked about him for Stranger Things, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is. Then I finally saw Quiet Place, and I was like, oh, he's good. Okay, cool. So this will be my Paul Mescal test. So I've never What's he even been in? Like, hold the fucking phone.
I'm looking him up now.
Where's the fucking phone?
Mezcal rose to fame with his role in the miniseries Normal People.
That's not all right. I've never heard of that.
Neither have I.
Let's see, actor. All right.
It looks like he's done a bunch of artsy shit. So
Is it the same guy?
maybe
Okay.
that means he's
He's been in
actor.
13 things. Bump, never heard of it. Normal People, never heard of it. Drifting, never heard of it. Deceit, never heard of it. Some Rolling Stones music video, 2 music videos. Okay. The Lost
theater stuff.
The Lost Daughter, never heard of it. God's Creatures, never heard of it. After Sun, never heard of. Carmen, never heard of. All of Us, Jade, never heard of. Phone, never heard of. He's in nothing.
Well, he's in things, but he isn't necessarily who you would pick to follow Russell Crowe. I think is what you guys are really saying.
I think if he's good, then he'll nail it. It's just I feel like I think for me, from my perspective of him, was like people talked him up as if like I don't know, he was like the next like this great actor who's been in so many great things, but he's been in like 2 things.
Well, you gotta watch more films.
I think what I'm getting kind of like Timothée Chalamet vibes.
But I feel like with Timothée Chalamet, he was actually in movies.
Well, this guy's been in movies, but
movies that people actually know about.
I understand, but the movies that I just looked at with Paul Mescal, it's got all the markings of like indie films where it's like it was at this film festival, this film festival, this film festival, and I feel like that's where a lot of Timothée Chalamet's things were. I think that the difference is some of his indie film festival movies got more mainstream attraction.
All I'm saying is Timothée Chalamet was in a Christopher Nolan film and Paul Mescal wasn't. So
what was he in?
I'm not gonna say it unless you find out on your own.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, Timothée Chalamet's in a Christopher Nolan film, bitch.
He's
gonna hate this when he finds
Leo's
out.
Kids and Inception?
No. You're warm though.
What the fuck?
Where's the fucking
Interstellar?
There it is.
God. Yeah, he's the kid.
He's the kid.
He's the kid.
He's the kid.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we shouldn't hold it against him.
Checkmate.
Is all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying is got him.
But yeah, so I'm glad that people are hyped up for this guy because he's done a bunch of indie films. I think doing an acting tour of the indies is good shit.
No, not really. I mean, everyone's got to have their time.
I know. It's just the way he said it.
Here's the thing. As someone who wants to get into more indie films and less into Hollywood films, I have great respect for the indies.
Maybe you should use. Sorry.
No, please.
You should use Paul Mescal's IMDb filmography as a touchstone.
Precise. I was tempted to start making lists based on like Sundance and Cannes Film Festival films, but I think I don't know. I think I think I can have an artsy overload. So
that's a bit much.
You gotta. There's certain projects I can show you, Nathan.
Yes, please.
We could be a real film podcast though and review Cannes movies.
We could actually review good movies.
What? I want to talk about Supergirl.
We could pick our Cannes film selections.
Oh my god.
I see.
And we have to have our rewards at the end of the year. Our awards.
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have a running list of my favorite movies of the year.
I see it. I check them. I check to see if anything new gets added.
I should make one of those. But
yeah, it's my films that came out specifically this year. I actually had to adjust it because I didn't realize that Godzilla -1 was a last year movie, so I had to take that off. It's okay.
Out of the wire.
Although technically, I think so. It was a last year movie. However, if I'm not mistaken, the black and white minus color version came out in January, and that's when I saw it.
So it's on yours, but not on mine.
Yeah,
because I haven't seen that version.
Think about it. Like whenever those Three Musketeer movies come out, those will come out in the U.S. in 2024.
I think I was counting Godzilla as U.S. release. I'm pretty sure it was.
I think you're safe then. Well, actually, no. I think that actually came to the U.S. pretty quick, but
yeah,
even so,
it doesn't even say on Wikipedia.
People like Godzilla films. You know
what the fuck? It doesn't have the U.S. release on here.
In fact,
Yeah, we like
I've
good.
seen Godzilla -1. Trash.
It's really good. It's probably the second best.
Yeah, December 1st. Okay. Doesn't count. December 1st. That's okay.
Like the Japanese with their live action Godzilla films, I really like how they're waiting and taking their time and making them good. It's very nice.
Yeah, bro.
But the MonsterVerse is going to have 2 more movies out in the next.
That's great. You know.
Yeah, and that's good for completely different reasons.
Different audience, yeah. No,
I mean, hey, it's me. I'm the audience, bro. I watch them all.
No, I know.
I go to theaters. I see Godzilla -1, peak. I go to theaters. I see Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, peak. I'm happy.
Listen,
good.
I'm eventually gonna have to watch Godzilla X Kong in order to prep for. Hold on, let me. I'm looking for it.
Bro, you have to watch Monarch. It's so fucking good.
Ape X Mecha Ape New World Order.
What?
You just said a bunch of words that individually I understand, but together make no sense to me.
It's the Asylum. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That series is Ape versus Monster, which is Godzilla versus Kong. Ape versus Mecha Ape, which is ripping off King Kong Escapes, a little bit of a throwback.
I gotta add Godzilla now to the fucking thumbnail.
Ape X Mecha Ape, No World Order. So
see, you know, and I remember King Kong Escapes was a real fun one when I originally watched it, and it's got Doctor Who in it.
I know. I need to include that in the retrospect.
Which Doctor?
William Hartnell.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You can't just say Doctor Who now. There's been like 12,000 doctors.
Doctor fucking Who.
Doctor fucking Who.
See, because in the Dalek movies, his last name is Who, so that's who. It's Peter Cushing, you know.
Well, that's how it works in King Kong Escapes as well.
Exactly. See, it's a throwback to the Peter Cushing films, which we still need to see. I haven't seen them.
I need to.
You know, I'm really upset. I was gonna do a lead-in earlier, but then I missed it and found a better lead-in to Gladiators, so I didn't do my earlier lead-in. But earlier we were talking about Legion, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, speaking of other Marvel adjacent shows starring Aubrey Plaza, they had the trailer for Agatha All Along come out today.
Yeah.
Get it? Because Aubrey Plaza was in.
She was great.
So Agatha All Along is a show that's happening finally. It is only happening because of WandaVision. There was a catchy song with a villain reveal, even though she's not the villain. Let's be honest here. We all know who the villain is.
We all know who the villain is.
Never got her comeuppance though.
No, never will.
It's the writers.
It was the Man of Steel thing where, like, in the next movie, we addressed that the character had some problems that they did, but we're gonna make up a new problem to persecute them for, and ignore the original problem.
You know, I hate that. That's so cowardly.
I fucking hate that.
It's such a cowardly way to do storytelling.
It's bad. But it looks like Agatha All Along might actually deal with the repercussions of WandaVision, which is an interesting concept if I gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, if I was invested, I'd be like, whoa, dude, they had the little kitty from that 70s show in the trailer, bro. That she was in WandaVision. What?
Listen, I'm all about exploring the long-term effects of psychological trauma. Do I think that the MCU is the place where they'll explore it to the fullest?
Yes.
Hey, remember how the MCU has always handled alcoholism in a very well-rounded and explorative way that has really like shown nuance and depth? Oh no, I don't remember.
Into your eyes.
Sorry, you were saying something?
Well, you know, like Iron Man 2 and Avengers Endgame, and there's probably another one.
But Ragnarok.
Or Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok was the worst, where she was like, I'm Valkyrie, I'm an alcoholic, derp, derp, derp. And then Thor was like, hey. Nathan, can you be Thor?
Oh shit. Well, see, I was going the different route of Loki being like, hey, remember this vision from when you weren't an alcoholic?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, hey, I should stop.
And that's her
like,
character arc. That's the movie. Hey,
that sounds good enough to make her the leader of Asgard.
Hey, your character is that you're an alcoholic. Well, I want you to stop that so we can progress the movie. And she's like, oh my god, that's right. Now is the time I stop being an alcoholic and have my character arc. And
That was great.
that's it. That was the movie. So anyway, Agatha All Along is it happened because of her catchy intro into the show, or her catchy reveal in the show, where it was Agatha All Along. And it was a meme on TikTok for like 2 weeks. And because of that, Marvel said, we got to assign this to an 8-episode limited series, obviously. Yeah. So it's like 4 or 5 years later. And over the
4 years?
Maybe, I'm guessing, right?
Okay.
Maybe 3.
3 sounds about right.
This weird thing happened where like time got distorted in 2020. So I forget what things happened.
Yeah. But the multiverse of madness was in like 2022, I think.
Yes. And that was good. Because it was all the Sam Raimi bits were good. Wow, really? Crickets? Hello? Jesus. What's happening here? Fuck, guys.
Sorry, sometimes I run out of energy when we are in the MCU for too long.
I feel like that's a moment we should have had the cameras so we could see your soul leave your body in real time.
Yeah.
It's that shot of Coraline's dad from the movie where he just looks dead.
I feel like if we upped the contrast enough, we could see your spirit literally leaving your body in that moment.
Yeah. No, I dissociated slightly.
But there's a weird thing. So on the channel, I uploaded a video. It was more of a test that I just happened to upload because I was like, sure, this actually works. I was watching the trailer for Agatha All Along because it was more of a curiosity. And I realized when I was watching it, I'm like, man, everything is center frame. Like everything's in the middle. Every shot, every character, everything is center frame. The sides, left and right, nothing's happening.
There's not even really like panning shots, really.
No, and I'm like, why is this? And so I am like, what's going on here? And I realize I'm like, oh shit. It's because if everything's in the center, it's easier to edit into TikToks.
We want it to trend.
I'm going to rub chilies into your eyes.
Who did this?
And if you think about it, it's in a weird roundabout way, it's a little bit smart. Why? Because the whole reason why this show is even happening in the first place is because of TikTok. So you might as well shoot your show for TikTok.
Yeah.
But then I was like, let's have some artistic integrity here. So I put blocks on the side, and I turned it 4:3 classic TV full screen. And all of a sudden, without any like changing, typically when a movie goes from like widescreen to full screen, like for the back in the day, the TV DVD release of full screen, they'd have to like change some of the shots so that it's panned over to the left or right because of who's talking or whatever. Yeah. I didn't have to do a single fucking thing to Agatha All Along. Like not a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
I put it into Adobe. I set the sequence to 4:3. I put the clip in. Perfect.
See, now you need to, see the preview for yourself before it hits TikTok and put it in 9:16 and see,
It'll be perfect. It'll be so fucking beautiful. But honestly, in a weird way, though, I feel like, WandaVision's whole gimmick was like old TV. I feel like, if you had an ounce of integrity, you already shot it this way. Just have your gimmick be it's like an old school like X-Files, Buffy type serial like superhero witch story drama. That'd be interesting. It'd be different. It'd be something.
It'd be something. Yeah.
All of those positive words you said there, Sal, That's not what the MCU is about. New and interesting. That's not formulaic. We haven't run that by a test audience.
Well, maybe you should.
We don't want to be compared to that other series, that other universe.
Right.
Is there still at least 30% humor? There goddamn better be.
I feel like it is a mathematical equation they've worked out. Like, we need to have this many jokes on average in this amount of time. And they have someone who's like, the stat guy gets back to him, he's like, actually, in this period, there was actually like too few jokes because we had a couple of dramatic scenes there. So we're going to have to front load them in this next scene. So, okay, thank you. Appreciate
that scene
that.
that one scene that was serious where Thor was talking to the ghost of his father. We have to fuck that up by having Rock Guy director run in at the end.
That's what's so amazing about Ragnarok is like the literal director comes into the dramatic scene and says, guys, don't worry, everything's fine. He's just a little bit of a baby right now. Anyway, I'm a rock guy.
It's so funny. I feel like there were two big poisoning of the well moments in the MCU. The first one, as much as I love it, Guardians of the Galaxy, showed people, oh, we can make a superhero comedy. So what if we make all of them superhero comedies? And so that's, I feel like that is kind of indirectly why Voltron becomes shit. But then it gets so much worse because, But then we get fucking Thor Ragnarok, and then it's like, oh, we can make these. We don't even need to make these good comedies, and it's like, oh, fuck me.
Jesus.
See, the thing about Age of Ultron is that's like one of the most baffling. I don't even know baffling. It's just that one is so weird. That's one of the weirdest ones.
Yeah.
Because like I have no idea how to feel about it. Like there's good stuff in there, but like, man, what is that? What is that thing?
I'm always left just kind of confused and a little bit bored. It's like,
huh. And I'm one of the guys who defends the Black Widow Hulk stuff, for God's sakes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, if you're gonna do something, I mean, you look at the MCU now, and then you look at then, it's like, man, you were trying something interesting there, and then immediately gets undone and revoked. Well, they kind of reference it later, but not in a meaningful way.
I mean, fuck, in hindsight, that's now like some of the best stuff they did with the Hulk. So.
Yes. Oh yeah, easily.
I call 100%. This an absolute win. Jesus.
Yeah, what Ruffalo has become is a fucking disgrace, and it's not his.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care, which how could you? But
it's hard to make you care at that point.
Yeah,
I remember the interviews where Josh Brolin was saying that he looked fed up and done when they were filming Infinity War, but they were able to rope him in for She-Hulk.
Jesus, so, it was some time. It was some time later.
He and oh crap, I forgot his name. The Hulk and Bucky were the characters with the longest contracts of any of the characters.
That's right.
Aside from I think Chris Hemsworth's was a bit longer because he was a smaller star than the others at the time. Yeah. But yeah, so Bucky and Hulk are the ones who have the longest. Mark Ruffalo, I don't know if his contract is up or if She-Hulk counted, but man, like he's just selling that down the river. He doesn't give crap about the Hulk.
I just see his eyes and just
help me.
It's
a gift from Draco's father.
Like that's kind of cut off.
This is the thing: is we need to go back. We all need to go back to Ang Lee's Hulk, back when an artist had control of it. And just like think about, and then think of Hulk dabbing, and then oppose that with David Banner saying, "You're not my son." And I want you to watch those back to back.
Here's the thing: I think we should move away from this shit and talk about a different, lovable, big green guy. Okay? We should talk about the fact that they just announced Shrek 5.
I mean, they're doing Toy Story 5. There you go.
It was for him. Yeah.
I'm gonna rub chilies into your eyes.
Nathan, how's that feel? Nate?
Line?
It's
funny.
Are you Googling it to make sure I'm not lying to you?
No, I believe you. But I also believe that there's been a Shrek 5 announced for like fucking years. It kind of depends. In the context of Shrek Forever After.
Help me.
In the context of Puss in Boots, the Last Wish. So, fucking shit. I mean, I have no idea what they'll do with it. But you know, The Last Wish showed me that there's still some creativity that you can do in this world. So, you know, let's see them do it. You know,
They got Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz coming back.
hey man. I know that Eddie Murphy is also campaigning for a Donkey Solo movie. I don't know what that would look like.
I want it to be in the vein of Logan so bad.
It wouldn't be
You want it
good.
to be in the vein of what?
Logan.
That's fair.
Like he's carrying after like a dying old dragon.
Oh God.
I think honestly, like, and you know, I would say like I did love The Last Wish. That was a great movie, but I would probably rather a Donkey spinoff or a Puss in Boots 3 than a Shrek 5. I'm just gonna put that out there.
I feel you.
But I don't know.
It depends how much Puss will steal the movie. You know.
I mean,
yeah, if Puss is good enough.
You know, it's a big ask.
great ass.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so you know they're doing Toy Story 5, so you know I think that we need to balance the scales. So maybe Shrek 5 is what we need.
I was gonna say if you know strapped my nuts to a car battery and said you gotta watch Shrek 5 or Toy Story 5, Shrek 5 immediately.
Oh yeah, no thinking about it.
I haven't even seen Toy Story 4. I don't want to.
Neither have I, man. Yeah. That's crazy. Because 3 was so good, but it's weird how after 3 I was like, I'm fucking done, man.
Yeah,
It's almost like you know, stories end or should.
Nah.
I don't know.
Nah. It's
Fuck
fucking
me.
gay.
Well,
We
sorry you feel
say
that way.
goodbye to our toys, but we don't say goodbye to our movies. Fuck.
No, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh man, what have you guys been? I don't want to keep talking about my own shit. So what have you guys been watching and doing recently? I have stuff to say, obviously, because I watched some movies. But
you know,
what have you been up to?
Yeah, I watched 2 very depressing movies back to back. They're both really well done, but they were both kind of disgusting.
This is a good segue from Shrek. Go on.
Yeah, the comedy, which was Tim Heidecker, directed by Rick Alverson. Essentially, it's like, what if we did this movie about a guy who literally just can't connect with anyone, and he just lives his entire life through irony and how horrible that is. And then the other one was Naked with you know, David Thewlis, you know, good old friend of Harry Potter, David Thewlis. His big break, Naked, from the 90s, was a similar story of a guy who just you know, believed the world was coming to an end, and so proceeded to set out across England and just make people think worse about existence. So those are both pretty miserable, but they were very good in their own ways. So if you like David Thewlis monologuing about the end of the world and how barcodes are three sets of 2, and that's 666, and like
That's
basically, you know, yeah, you know, like you know, they're both good, but definitely like they're disgusting, but you know, they're so well done, you have to, on some level. And you know, other than that, not a whole much. I rewatched. Katie had never seen it, so we watched Godfather Part 1, and that was wow.
That's
that was
crazy.
That's
a crazy movie to dodge for so long.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So we finally got her to see that one, and I said, I will only show you Part 2 if you like Part 1. And she loved Part 1, so I'm like, well, we got to watch Part 2. Yeah.
Well, now she's locked in. Like, you can't be like, oh, you don't have to watch. You know, it's like, no. It's the trilogy now.
Well, and there was that re-release of Part 3 where they renamed it and recut it slightly.
Yeah, I need to watch that still.
So
Which
that's
dog shit, right, Joe?
I didn't say it was dog shit. So I looked up the changes, and it's different if I visually see it, obviously, but from what I heard,
you haven't seen it? I thought you got it.
I did get it. I don't think I finished it.
Oh, okay.
It was this whole complicated series of events. I don't know how it happened. I just know it was a mess, but I still have my copy. But I know it's recut slightly. I don't know if I agree necessarily with some of the changes, but I can see the logic behind them. I'm gonna have to watch it for myself all the way through, and that's the version that I'm gonna watch with Katie. I think that's just like the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, I also get her unbiased opinion.
Exactly.
Well, so you got to watch that and then watch The Sicilian. So
nope, never doing that.
Just look at me, baby. I got you.
I still have the digital copy.
Yeah, me too.
That's a loaded gun right there. That's scary.
The Sicilian was so bad, Nathan and I couldn't. We got halfway through and said, "This is not worth the squeeze."
We gotta get back to watching movies, but like changing the file names. So we don't know.
Yeah.
So I have that folder still, Forgotten Fantasy, where there's a bunch that I forgot what they are, and they're all renamed.
That's even better because you wait years and you're like, I don't know what that is anymore.
Yeah, I just know one is like A, B, and C, and D, and one is like 2, 5, 8, and I'm like, what do these mean? I have no idea. I just know one is like the 3 Hercules movies that came out in 2014.
Oh God.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, so that's definitely in our future at some point, because
that's fantastic.
Which one's the best? You know, the Dwayne Johnson one, the not Dwayne Johnson one,
the other not Dwayne Johnson
or the
one?
Asylum one. Yeah.
God, who's to say?
I love that on the wiki. For the Asylum films, it lists what movie it's ripping off, and for that Hercules movie, it just says the other 2 that came out. So
that's amazing. That's really good.
I'm glad that the people who run the Asylum wiki have a sense of humor. You know,
you
that's
have to put that in a
important.
folder with also the 3 Pinocchio movies that came out the same year.
That's a good point. Oh my
God, I have. Wait, I didn't watch the Disney one, but I watched Del Toro one and the Russian one.
And you also include the video game movie for Lies of P.
Well, I was about to say, yeah, the Pinocchio. You know, that's what I played for like 8 hours last night.
Yeah, when you were like, I'm gonna get into it, then I woke up this morning to a text from like 11 p.m. the previous night. I was like, oh Jesus.
Oh yeah, I sacrificed sleep because I had to keep going. It was like crack.
It's so fucking good, dude.
You know how it gets with the Souls games when you get in a rhythm and you're like, I should just like physically rest my body and recharge so I can get over this like platforming section, or I just beat this big boss. But you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna go a little bit through the area, and then it's like crack. It's terrible.
That was me this morning. I decided to start my day with Lies of P because I saw that you were blasting through it, so I was like, I gotta get through some of this today. So, but I hit like a spot where I found a really good grind spot for farming Ergo, and I just was blasting Chappelle Roan and just like running the same spot, getting like 2k Ergo every time. And it was like an hour of that, and I was like, I should probably get to work. But I was just in the fucking, I was just doing it. I was in the rhythm, and I was just blasting through. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
It is good, and I know Nathan hasn't played it, so I don't want to like be talking about it for too long. But there's this point where you get, it's like when you finish chapter 4, which is, I think, if I'm guessing, that's like 40% of the way through the game, but I don't know.
There is, I think, 10 chapters. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. So I finished chapter 4, and there's this bit where like the Ergo, like the soul equivalent, gets sucked out of all these bosses you beat, and then it cuts away and shows like this guy maniacally laughing as his machine like has this death beam getting ready to fire electricity, and it's just like, wait a minute, what? I thought this was like a Souls game. Now I'm in an anime.
Yeah, it was wild. I was like, this is a bit out of left field, but you know what? I'm gonna roll with it.
Yeah, but it's been a great time. There was this one section of platforming that was annoying me to no end, but it was annoying me in a good way, where I knew that I just needed to be patient and find the shortcut.
I don't want to be a dick, but I did do that the first try without dying.
So you went all the way up and
Yeah, I never fell.
found the shortcut and everything.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was doing that at like 1 a.m. So
yes, and
but
to be fair, I think of the two of us, I am the more. I think because the reason why you blast through games and I don't is because I am a meticulous comber. I will go through a game very, very steadily and slowly and look at everything. Or I feel like you do look at stuff, but I feel like you're a bit more like pedal to the metal.
I think your more meticulous playthroughs tend to come in the follow up.
Yeah,
like you are still meticulous in your first playthrough, but a little more moving things forward, at least from my limited experience.
That's probably fair.
It was like when we both did Jedi Fallen Order, and we both beat it, and then but you obviously got done way faster than me, but I got all the achievements because I was like very slowly like ticking every box.
There was definitely I did a lot of exploring in Fallen Order, but there was a point where I'm just like, this isn't. I'm not really invested in. I'm trying to remember what some of that. I'm not gonna insult it by calling it busy work, but I'm trying to remember what
it's
some
not
of
Destiny.
Those. Yeah, no. But I'm trying to remember what some of that was, and the point where I was wrapped up in the story, and I was, maybe it was just that I was playing a Star Wars game, and I actually didn't, I was enjoying myself.
Yeah.
And but I'd say it's probably true. I am like really trying to read all the lore for Lies of P as I go. But
I'm glad that it does seem like a very fleshed out game, and like there's an actual story behind it. Which I'm so glad about, because I remember when this first kind of hit our radar, and it was basically just like, oh, they're doing Bloodborne, but Pinocchio, and it's like, that seems wacky and fun, but.
Yeah, and it's again, it kind of has it both ways a little bit. Again, Sekiro, I think, closest because its story is more directly kind of told to you, but they do have so much that is foreshadowed in the earlier newspapers and the diaries and stuff that foreshadow stuff that's going to come later, and they do a good job of imitating the style of the found history, the found lore, but the story so far is very clear. Like, Geppetto tells you, hey, be careful who you who you tell about the hotel, and there was this one character that I kept lying to him.
Yes.
I thought that I could lie and he wouldn't go to the hotel, and then I lied to him enough times, and he said, I know you're lying. I'm going to. I was like, shit.
That's the guy who has the woof woof on his head.
The hound, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
he's a fun. I lied to him once, and then he was like, you fucker, and I was like, I'm sorry. Here we go. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm being very loyal to dear old dad. So
yeah. Well, the first time I saw him, I was like, oh, that's good voice crack. I love being an adult. The first time I saw him, I was like, you're fucking sus, dude.
Yeah, he's like if you mixed Patches with Nathan, who's the guy who kills the Firekeeper in Dark Souls 1? In Demon Souls he's Yurt the Silent Chief, but in Dark Souls he's Lautrec.
Yeah, it's like that.
So this guy's like the mixture between Patches and Lautrec, and it's very unsettling.
So for all my Dark Souls 2 fans out there, he's like Creighton,
Yes.
One guy clapped.
Listen, in Dark Souls 2, they try to do a cool thing where which of these guys is lying, is the traitor? Are they both bad, or is one of them good? Who's lying? And then I think you can find them fighting each other or something.
It is one of the better NPC arcs to go through in Dark Souls 2. So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of customization, and so far I haven't felt like I've really needed to grind, which is nice.
Yeah,
I know it's gonna change.
I hit a wall where I was like, fuck. I hit an opera house, and the first, I think, 2 rooms, I was like, this shit is fucking me up.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was using the opera house to grind.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
I
speaking
fought
of,
the King of Puppets and beat him on the first try, which is so great. Because
That is cool.
because I like play the game, my metadata knows I play it. So the subreddit gives me notifications, and it's always every day someone like, I can't beat the King of Puppets, he's so hard. And I'm like, fucking get good.
Oh, bitch boy.
I don't. So far in the game, they give you summons for every boss, and you get so many. Essentially, humanity. They're like the star fragments.
So many of those.
You get so many. Like I literally have like 30.
I have 70.
Oh God. Yeah. So like they add a summon for every boss, and it's like,
except
I'm not
for the
gonna lie,
optional
like,
ones, of course. There's some additional bosses.
Yeah. Sorry, I should specify all the main bosses.
Yeah. Story critical bosses.
Yeah, so I can't imagine. I mean, obviously the bosses are going to get harder, but I can't imagine losing or being like so stuck that you have to go to subreddit if you can summon.
Yeah, I mean, I summon for every boss I can just because it's a mechanic in the game. I'm going to use it.
No, I don't shame anyone for summoning. Like you know, that's part of the fun.
Yeah, and so I think for most bosses, except for one, I get them on either the first to third try.
Mm-hmm.
I will get the boss. There was one that took me like I think 10 or so, but he didn't have a summon for him. He's an optional boss. He's before actually the Opera House. And it's like a whole gauntlet to get up to him, and there's like a bunch of dudes with flamethrowers and guys throwing bombs, and he has a very bullshit like a reach attack and then a very quick spin attack, and it's like and he has a gang squad with them, and it's just like,
that's terrible.
it was bad. I was like, this is not good. This is really not good.
Me having Vietnam War flashbacks to the Dark Souls 2 DLC gang fight.
Yeah, basically, like you enter this fucking long, this long street, and you're like, great. So I think after that is when I grinded, because I beat him, I was like, I can't do that again. And then I tried the King of Puppets. So hell yeah.
Congrats. I don't know. I'm and you did summon for him though, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, if I summon and beat him the first try, I'm gonna be like, well, I summoned.
Though it's funny, when I fought, so normally before a boss, I will like use the grindstone and electrify my blade. I'll like get all my stuff, or I'll pop a resistance potion. For King of Puppets, I literally was like, I knew he was so hard that when I entered the boss room, I was like, I'm not doing any of that. I'm just gonna go in raw. I know I'm gonna die. I just want to learn his moves like as early as I can. And I think like the fact that I walked in zen and like accepting of my fate, I was able to keep calm and persevere.
Yeah, 100%. Nathan, I want to ask you, what is your opinion on this whole thing about summoning? Because that's become a big thing in later From Saga, especially Elden Ring. Like this whole thing about, you know, I don't want to like make it too simplistic, but there seems to be a contingent that's like the bosses are you know, summoning ruins the bosses because it draws the aggro and it messes them up, or some people saying like, you know, it's a mechanic in the game, it's not cheating because they put it in the game for you to use.
Sure.
What's your opinion on like summoning in these sorts of games and that kind of stuff, which are meant to challenge you and all that and all, whatever?
Sure. I think, you know, and this is from my own experience as I play primarily offline, I do think that summoning a whole other player is a little but to me, I think that the buffs that the boss gets is enough to offset the summon, where it's not purely just making the fight easier. You know, and especially in, you know, something like Dark Souls 2 where the AI is a piece of shit, summon can actually be to a detriment. But, and you know, I'm not as familiar with Lies of P. I haven't played it or seen a whole bunch about it. But when it came to like Dark Souls 1 and 2, I feel like most of the summons you get for boss fights are NPCs that you've met along the way, so it still feels consistent with the story. But yeah, I do think that, you know, I'm not gonna be snobbish towards people that like summon their friends or summon other players, but that's where I do kind of feel like, okay, we're kind of circumventing the narrative of the game to make this possible for you, but it is still a game mechanic. I'm not going to shit on you for using it. So.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun being summoned to help beat the Nameless King in Dark Souls 3. Like I must have fought him at least 250 times or something. Like just helping people fight him, because and then you become like God because you know the boss so well that when I went back through, because I'd helped so many people beat him, he was like one of the easiest bosses. But nice. But I agree. I think that obviously there's some times where I played the games and like tried not to summon unless I absolutely needed it. And then there's a game like Sekiro where you get maybe 1, maybe 2 times where you get an NPC to help you. It's very like not a part of the game. Lies of P, I don't know if the bosses get buffed if you summon. It's very strange. But the specters you summon, they're definitely what's your experience, Sal? I pretty much like every time I've used them, they always die before I finish the boss.
Yeah, I'd say so. There's also a thing weak. Later you can unlock. You're almost there, Josiah. I think there's a certain currency that can give you an item that can give the specter certain buffs that are temporary, but
interesting.
But it costs us a specific new currency to do it.
Oh, I think I have an idea of what it is, but that's interesting. Okay.
Yes. I think personally, if it's in the game, as a game developer myself, and I could say that, if it's in the game, they designed it to be utilized at some point. So if a developer says I'm going to give you this cool jellyfish in Elden Ring to summon for a boss fight, yeah, they planned for that to happen at some point in the gameplay experience. So it's totally a valid way, or else it wouldn't be in the game. And that's the end. I think for me, that's the end of the conversation. It's like, I don't understand how people could say, oh, you didn't play the game right, when literally it's, Harris. It's part of the mechanics. It's in the game. Like, Harris. It's in the fucking game. Like, if Miyazaki, who himself says he uses summons, didn't want summons to be in the game, he wouldn't put it in the fucking game.
And I will say that are there certain bosses where I've played them with summons and without, and I've found that without summons it's a lot more enjoyable? Yeah, for sure. But that doesn't mean that they're not. It's we've all said, it's a mechanic in the game. I do like your argument that bringing in, like, using someone who you found along your journey makes the story better.
Yes.
But if you summon another player, it's kind of like breaking that fourth wall a little bit.
Now it's like a video game.
Now it's like a video game because it doesn't quite make sense. Like, maybe that doesn't break immersion for some people, but obviously these games, a lot of it is about immersion. So I think if someone's going to argue against summoning, argue against the multiplayer, because then you can take it from the narrative point of view, I guess. But
I also think that for me, it's like summons do obviously help the boss fight along, whether it's like providing more damage, providing aggro, but in a way, like, some players, it's an optional thing. And I think for a lot of players who play these games, want to enjoy Dark Souls or Elden Ring or Lies of P, but they don't have the time to like get super good as someone who maybe I don't know, one of these people that has all the time in the world to like play Dark Souls over and over, as like in like a I'm trying to be careful because I know Nathan only plays Dark Souls. This isn't about you specifically, because you play no other games. So it's different. These are the people who like play
chilies into your eyes.
These are the people who play like every new release, and then also like expect like you to be a god at Elden Ring because they spent like the first 3 days nonstop playing it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But some people have like jobs, they have kids, they have school. Like, they're not gonna have the time to sit there and like get the best at the game. So if they need to summon a friend, summon an NPC to help them through a boss fight, they might not have gotten the same experience as you did, but they also probably had a challenging experience for them that was also probably satisfying to overcome.
I
feel like that's kind of the same issue that a lot of these like AAA multiplayer games are running into, where lots of adult gamers that enjoy gaming, but they also work a 9 to 5 or have kids, and you can't just get into a Call of Duty lobby and have people who have been playing for 3 days straight, and have a good time. You're seeing a lot more gamers of our generation going into more of a campaign-based or co-op sort of
mobile
scenario
game,
because it's so cutthroat.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I play Destiny, I almost don't ever play the PvP because like everyone in there is like the highest level cap with the best loot, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with that right now.
I had some great fun in Dark Souls 3, going into the specific area where there was a ton of invaders. It was quite fun. There was like whole wars that were waged, but I do think that when I look at it from like a big picture point of view, you look at percentages of people who get certain achievements on a game, right? Let's just say the Souls games, like the FromSoft Soulslike type games. Certain people, like you have a chunk of people who are never going to get some of those optional bosses, are never going to reach the ending even. And, would I rather them just play the most immersive, hardcore way? Not if it means they will drop the game. Like, I'd rather them finish the game and experience the world and the story and the art of it. I'd rather them finish it, if they need a little assistance, than not finish it, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like for some, that's why it's optional. If you want to play it without the summons to challenge yourself, fantastic. But like John over here, who has like a toddler to take care of and works a 9 to 5 graveyard shifts, whatever, doesn't have the luxury to like get super good. He can get good, but not like, amazing.
And you can wean yourself off of summons, or if you get to the end game and there's an optional boss that's obscene, which this happened with Elden Ring, where I reached a boss that I literally I felt that I could not reasonably beat. I summoned for it, and I was like, I'm not feeling the least bit bad about it.
Yeah. And also, there's so many bosses in games where they have like 17 dudes with them. So if I, as a comeuppance for years of that, I get to summon Solaire, I'll do it.
Oh! If it's a gank fight, summoning, I feel, is almost like they're pushing you to it. The odds. Yeah. It's evening the odds. That's different.
Yeah.
Like if you summon for a multiple individual fight, that's I don't feel like anyone can critique that, because that's just a pain.
There's a required gank boss fight in Lies of P that was fun.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen footage.
Yep, I've seen footage.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of all of these, these machismo arguments against summoning and everything like that, I watched a really great film this week. It was in fact Steven Spielberg's first film that he directed, Duel. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you have watched it?
The Fablemans?
Yes. Yeah. I've seen Duel.
What did you say?
I said The Fablemans.
No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. Oh, it was really good.
Yeah.
It's a very simple story. It's just a guy tries to pass a truck driver on a mountain highway, and the truck driver proceeds to make his life hell for it. And it's written by Richard Matheson, so like that is very apparent when you're watching. But it was a very satisfying watch. It really gets you in that atmosphere of like when you feel a little unsafe driving, and you just like that feeling in your gut just before you have to do some sort of maneuver, or when you think you're gonna crash for a second, is it's very good. And the way they handle the truck driver and everything reminds me a lot of Michael Myers in Halloween, where it's like there's something more to this. Like, this isn't just a crazy guy trying to get me killed. Like, there's pure evil here.
No, it is like the prototype for the shark in Jaws, where
Yeah.
Where it's this like unstoppable, ominous force, and you never like clearly see the driver. It's great. Like it's like a low budget thriller that Spielberg did, and it really showed his chops, because it's yeah, I remember it being real good. Like I quite enjoyed it, but I haven't rewatched it. But it sounds like I might have to.
I was blown. That was the first entry on my shit I heard about on the internet and want to watch but probably never will list that I made on Letterboxd. So already paying off.
And Nathan gave it 4 stars. That's fucking huge.
I did.
That's huge for
that is
Nathan.
good. Well,
it is.
Well, you know,
There's nothing bad about that. There's no ill intent.
I then proceeded to give Clue 5 stars and a heart, but you know,
yeah,
that's true. You did just give it 4 stars and no heart, so that's a bit that says something.
I'm very sparing with my heart because I just love cinema in general. So
I
don't want someone to think I love one movie. You know,
I do.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's why I have my favorites up here. You know, I can always change those.
Right.
But,
right.
There you go.
I watched movies. So I'm the current boy. I went to the movie theater boy.
Right.
And I saw 2 films actually that came out recently. The first one being not a theater movie, but I watched A Family Affair starring Zac Efron, Nicole Kidman, and Joey King.
What?
This is a what?
What?
This is a Netflix movie.
Oh.
A Netflix original. Starring Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman, and our favorite girl from Slender Man, Joey King.
Yeah.
Well, you know her from Slender Man. I know her from Wish Upon, but
I use the most relevant reference. I also know her from The Conjuring 2 and Wish Upon. Okay.
Well, I know her from. I go off of the best thing she did.
Yeah, Conjuring 2. So this is a rom-com where Zac Efron is playing a Hollywood actor, Chris Cole. He's an action star. He's preparing for his new movie, Icarus Rising 3. And it's a really shitty Photoshop movie poster in the movie. It's hilarious. And Joey King is like his assistant. And Zac Efron's this huge douche, which is very funny because I know Zac Efron personally. He's not a douchebag. He's a great guy. Great guy.
He's a very dear friend of mine.
And he has some trouble with Joey King because she's like running late and stuff and wants some, she wants more and he's not giving her more. And she quits and he's like, no, don't quit, please. You basically run my life because I'm a celebrity and I can't do it myself. And he goes to her house to get her back, and there is Nicole Kidman, who's her mom. And they end up fucking.
Yeah.
And the movie is basically Zac Efron trying to win the heart of MILF Nicole Kidman. And who wouldn't?
Yeah, ever since Batman Forever, it's sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, so it's so I watched it. It's a fun rom-com. It's unoffensive. It's very cute. It's very fun to watch. I think Joey King actually probably has a better future as a comedy actor because she was really good in this. Maybe the horror acting helped as she horrifiedly walked in on Zac Efron begging Nicole Kidman, who was her mom.
They don't go through the arc where it turns out she was the girl he wanted all along, do they?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, it's Nicole Kidman the whole way, baby.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, no, he never loses sight of the true purpose.
Good. Good.
It was fantastic, yeah, and it all leads up to the best. It really, I think the movie is, I don't know, watching Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron have fun for like an hour and a half.
Sure.
It ends with a really, really well-earned, that's not what your mom said last night joke.
Good.
And I felt like it was like, this was a whole hour and a half setting up to this one punchline, and it really fucking earned it. So,
I can respect that. You need to have a goal. You need to have a structure.
Yeah, and I think that was it. And it's funny because like I know Zac Efron as being like a very environmentally conscious, sustainable person. So like when they went to the store, all the stuff that she was picking up for him because he couldn't shop himself was all like, it was all snacks I recognized from Whole Foods. And at the end of the movie, they go to a grocery store, and it's like I saw the logo in the background of one shot. I looked it up. And it's a very like you know, health foodie store. There's like they're in an event, and in the background I see it's an environmental event, and I'm like, is Zac Efron just like, did he just use this movie as an excuse? Of course he did. Also Nicole Kidman. So I do recommend A Family Affair. It's just it's a rom-com. It's fun. Right. It's got, I mean, it's cool to see like a movie where the main character is like this hot buff dude, and the love interest is a mom who's like, I think in the movie they say she's 16 years older. In real life she's 20.
You know, if this were Treasure at Pirates Point, Zac Efron would be the bad guy. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, bro.
That's a good point.
Dude, speaking of Treasure at Pirates Point, I need an aside here real quick. So, okay, this is the story. So Josiah, what is a treasure at Pirates Point? Need you to lead us in.
So this is a film that I had seen on VHS tape, and not just VHS tape, like taped from cable. Years ago, and I rewatched the tape that my grandparents made over and over and over, and at some point, I don't know why, it was probably like some edgy phase, I'm like, oh, what's this tape? Treasure Pirates Point? We're gonna tape Die Hard over that.
I respect it.
But for years, there was a point where I'm like, hey, what was that one movie about the old man who has like a pirate ship in his backyard, and he's got like treasure, and like maybe it's like magical, but it's probably not. And there's like this guy who's like a businessman, and he's going out with the main character's mom, and he hates that, and he actually wants to steal the treasure of the pirate and everything. And there's like a redheaded best friend. Like I had all these like things that for years I kept typing out variations of, and I could never find it. And then randomly, when after I did this whole letterbox project of finding all close to all the films that I've seen, I did a pretty good job. Then I looked down on my VHS shelf because I was looking to see if there's anything I missed. And I'm like, what is that crossed out? Oh, what's that? Treasure at Pirates Point. Also known as Adventure at Pirates Point. It's very unclear. And I couldn't find a copy for cheap, but Nathan found one through Thrift Books.
Good old Thrift Books, bro.
A gift from Draco's father.
Thank you. And we all watched it, and it was a perfectly serviceable family film. But it's really like the fact that the circle was now complete, that I didn't have to like think about in the back of my mind this lost film that I completely forgot and only existed in my memory. Now I know that it was real,
Yeah. And it's some it's like a cheap like late 90s fun family movie. And honestly, for what it is, it's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Like for the budget, for like the story, for the limited locations, it was good.
I mean, the bike stunts that the kids were able to pull.
The fucking bike stunts, dude.
Very impressive.
That kid hit a fucking sick bike sled.
He did. There ought to be some oil on that road.
It was on point, bro. It was on a dime stop, bro.
Yeah.
I'll repeat what I said to you guys and what I said in the Letterboxd review is that I think what works about it is that it feels like someone who understands. Whoever wrote it, it feels like someone who actually gets kids. Like it feels like it was written by kids for kids. And just that energy of you get a fixation, like you have something you really like as a kid, like dinosaurs, pirates, like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, whatever it is. And all these things, medieval stuff, Rome, whatever it is, you get these fixations and they define a huge part of your life, especially when you're a kid. And it doesn't have to be necessarily one thing, like in this case, but the way they captured it felt authentic to me. And it's that kind of a film where you watch it and you're like, yeah, this is why it's cool to be a kid. This is why it's cool to like be into all this stuff. And so I thought that it was cool to finally see it. It was really funny that it's on the disc and the title screen says Treasure at Pirates Point, but the DVD with different actors posing is called Adventure at Pirates Point. So
God,
it was trippy for sure.
Wow. But one thing that was weird about the movie as we were watching it, was Nathan's Katie pointed out Because we're like, the fun thing about low budget movies that are like, a couple decades old maybe is looking at the cast and saying, okay, what happened after this? Like, was this your make it or break it moment? Did you fall into obscurity after this, or did you go on to do great, amazing things? And most people, did not, and that's okay. They probably lived very happy, fulfilling lives as like parents or whatever. But one person did not have a career in acting, but moved on to music. And it's a little girl named Britney Smith. Now, what? I think he was just agreeing with me. It's okay. So Britney Smith is more famously known as Brit Smith. And she was recently, like the last few weeks to month, in a sort of a catalyst for a controversy in the music scene. It was very weird that this was all happening at the same time. Completely unrelated. So everyone's favorite JoJo Siwa from she's like that kid star singer turned now she's an adult now, so now she's having her Batgirl Miley phase. Released a song called Karma's a Bitch, and did all this promo for it saying she worked on the song really hard, she did all this work on the song and the lyrics and yada yada. And it turns out she didn't write the song. It turns out this song was already done in a certain fashion, so by Brit Smith, who is in Treasure of Pirates Point, like a decade before JoJo. And Brit Smith didn't write it either, but it's like it was written for Miley Cyrus, and then Miley didn't go for it, so then Brit Smith's people grabbed the song. She recorded it, she mixed it and everything, and then they were like, this isn't your hit song, it's other song, and it came out, it wasn't a hit, and she stopped doing music. And then it sat on the shelf for 10 years, and then JoJo Siwa's people pick it up. Which is fine, because people do buy songs. But everyone jumped on JoJo because she was claiming in all the interviews that she wrote the song and stuff like that, when literally you listen to them side by side and they're the exact same fucking song.
Yeah,
they sound the same, they play the same. Brit Smith's version's obviously better.
She got her start in Pirates Point.
Yeah, gotta rep my Pirates Point crew. You know what I'm saying?
Brit Smith, this is what you got to do. I know you're back in the music. You need to do a pirate song.
Yeah.
To kind of bring this home.
I did a new song the other day. I'm somewhat.
Oh, you did?
I did. Yeah, I was messing around with it.
Very nice. Very nice.
I'm practicing for our project we're doing at some point.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
I'm going to rub chilies into your eyes.
But it's so weird that Brit Smith, we watched this random, kids movie that only Josiah watched as a kid.
Yeah. And I'm surprised you guys went for it. You were like, yeah, we're going to watch it. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, of course. And then it turns out one of the child actors is in a modern day controversy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was kind of this weird,
synchronicities, yeah.
Yeah, with the cells interlinked.
Well, then cells interlinked.
But I also watched one other movie recently in theaters. And that would be Ty West's MaXXXine.
Right. The very controversial.
Bike Riders.
No.
I already talked about Bike Riders, didn't I?
Oh, did you talk about that last time?
It was great. Go see Bike Riders.
Yes.
Or I guess at this point.
He talked about it.
I guess at this point, it's probably not in theaters anymore because it's the modern era of movies. So go watch it on whatever streaming service it's going to be on. It's a great movie. It's got a good cast. Yeah, go see Bike Riders. It's a fun story about found families and things becoming, times changing and not being able to control the times changing. It's good. But MaXXXine. So MaXXXine is the third film in the X trilogy. And it was everything I wanted it to be. I loved it. And I can't tell you which is my favorite X movie, because they're all different movies and they're all good for completely different reasons. which is kind of why I love them.
I've been wanting to watch Pearl because from what I can gather, I think Pearl is the one that I'm gonna jive with.
I think so too.
I thought X. I think we discussed this. I thought X was like pretty good. I think that, you know, if you're looking at the standard for like a slasher movie, yeah, this is like in the upper range.
Yeah.
But you know, I think maybe I wish that I just didn't that nobody talked about it before I saw it, because you know,
that's fair.
It was like, again, it was good. I don't think it did anything like too revolutionary necessarily, but I did like the premise and the themes. It was just that some of the execution towards the end, I just kind of was like, yeah. But you know, obviously, like Ty West, you know, it showed the talent as a director. But from what I've heard of Pearl, I think Pearl might be just what I want to get out of it. But this new movie, MaXXXine, the third one, it's apparently a little controversial. You know, apparently there's some discourse on it. I mean, I looked at your letterbox, then you know, you're like, I don't understand all the hate. So clearly, there's like a lot going on.
Yeah, so what's great about X and Pearl is that they're completely different but connected movies, both doing different things. Like, X is a slasher movie, and I don't typically jive with slashers. I don't like them very much. I thought X was really good. And then Pearl was a really interesting look at, like, it was like a Technicolor, like almost like a psychopathic villain origin story of like wanting stardom and failing. And it has a really fantastic monologue by Mia Goth. She's fantastic, of course. Mia Goth fucking rocks. But I went in the MaXXXine and I was like, this is going to be a fun, sleazy, 70s, grimy, like giallo thriller. And then I got that. And then I left the theater and I would check Letterboxd and everyone's like, why was it like that? And I was like, what do you mean? That's what they were setting up the whole time. People didn't expect or like the third act, and I was like, I guess the third act when I watched X back when it first came out. But okay. It felt like for me, I felt very vindicated when the third act happened. I was like, yeah, of course this is where we were going. And then people were like, that came out of nowhere. And I'm like, what do you mean that came out of nowhere? Were you watching?
See, it's so funny. I feel like this is a trilogy that kind of came and passed me by. Because I just saw Infinity Pool like a month or two ago.
Infinite Poo, yeah.
Yeah. And that was my first time seeing Mia Goth.
Mia Goth.
And, you know, every now and then when I watch movies, I like to look up the cast and everything, and I'm like, oh, Alexander Skarsgård. I didn't know you could act.
Isn't that crazy?
And then I looked up. I know. And then I looked up Mia Goth, and it was like, oh yeah, she's been in this. She's in the middle of this trilogy, and like the first two movies are out. And I'm like, what? I've never heard. And I like looked around, and it's like, oh yeah, those movies are really good. And I'm like, I did not hear a single goddamn fucking thing about these. And then I proceeded to not watch them because, you know, I don't always have the time to immediately jump on things. And then
because you'd rather because you were in the middle of watching Leprechaun, I think.
What?
I'm just making a joke. You weren't.
Oh shit! I would hope not. I might have been watching Wishmaster at that time.
Oh,
Help me.
yes.
But anyway, then I heard about MaXXXine, and I was like, oh, this is the end of the trilogy. And so I haven't watched any of them. I've heard they're good. Mia Goth annoyed the piss out of me in Infinity Pool, but I know that was kind of the point, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to sit down with her for a trilogy, but maybe.
She's phenomenal. She's also really good in Suspiria.
I do need to see that.
I think that's on my list.
Yeah. The thing about Pearl and X is that they shot them back to back, and they came out very close.
A prequel, right?
Yes.
Okay.
What happened was they were filming X, and then COVID happened. They were stuck, and they were like, well, I guess we should make another one. We already have the sets built.
Hey, man. I think that's great.
And yeah, I think personally I like Pearl more than X. And I think I I might need to rewatch, but I might like MaXXXine the most. But I also really love like 70s gross thriller grime. And I think it hit all my boxes for me. They also let Giancarlo Esposito be an actual character and not just Gus Fring. So immediate points.
Wow.
But yeah, no, everyone was like shocked by the third act, confused. I saw a lot of reviews saying there's so many storylines that don't go anywhere, and I'm like, no, they don't. They even do the thing where before the reveal happens, they do like a bit of like a kind of, they sum up some other points in the movie that all led to this. They even like tried to tell you what happens, so you're not confused. And I was like, you were still confused. It was very bizarre for me. It felt like I entered a bizarro world where everyone else saw like a really bad cut of the movie, and I was the one person who saw the good cut of the movie.
Well, you know, and I can't speak for it either. Maybe I'll feel this way if I get to it. But, you know, we're in this age where we were talking about at the beginning, we're now making shows and trailers and movies that can be easily edited for TikTok. And, you know, a couple years ago, Netflix was like, yeah, we make it so that our movies are great to have on in the background. You know, we got a large portion of the audience that is not absorbing what they're watching. I had a guy in the seat in front of me who spent half the movie crouched over to this other seat on his phone, and the other half quickly getting out of the theater to probably take a call or something. And I'm like, that guy probably didn't know what happened in the third act.
Well, I also don't think that guy would be reviewing on Letterboxd. But yeah.
No, actually, he was actively live tweeting the movie.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah,
he was reviewing other movies he had watched on Letterboxd in the theater for that movie.
And
there you go.
Then he was like, I don't understand this MaXXXine shit. So I recommend MaXXXine. I feel like you don't even have to watch X or Pearl to get it. It's so self-contained.
I mean, that's each of the movies, I think, right?
Yeah, they're all pretty much their own thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I think maybe people didn't expect that, even though that was the gimmick.
Well, but okay, again, I was so knowing that it was a trilogy confused me when I was watching X for part of it. You know, I feel like I was like asking questions like, wait, why are the actor doing okay, never mind. But I do feel like, yeah, them being designed where you can watch them each out of context to the others is a strength, but because you tell people it's a trilogy, their mindset is like, this has to like feed into each other in a more direct way. I thought they made a prequel so the third one would tie it all together. Like, no. No, sorry. And even the third one, they sum up the events of of X enough in its own in MaXXXine to where you could probably not even watch X if you didn't want to. Okay.
I mean, I recommend it. It's, I think, one of the better slasher movies, and I'm a slasher hater, verified. So I fucking hate slashers. Unless Joe's in them, then I love them. They're perfect.
So that is a you know, I'm not sure I'll take that compliment, but you know, I will take the spirit in which it was given.
I see my boy with Hellraiser and I pop. What can I say?
Yeah, you know, I don't want to like bitch, but they did cut all of Paul's stuff and most of my stuff too. It was like, come on.
I mean, I only can feel that because of how much you shot for it, that I knew that you were out filming for it. Yeah. So when I watched the movie, I was like, that's not a lot of Josiah.
No, they had us improv like 10 minutes of material, and then they just cut
there's somewhere on some hard drive you riffing with Hellraiser, and it's just like there forever.
Maybe, yeah, you know, we'll maybe we'll see. You know, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say real quickly.
I think that's the only real quick. I think Friday the 13th Vengeance Part 2 Bloodlines, is the only film I'm in that is on Letterboxd. I think.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, it's on there. Yeah.
What about that one that is on Tubi that you told us about a little bit ago?
Oh, Homeless or Right at Home. I'll see if that's on there, but I don't think it is.
Anyway, I forgot today. I also watched. I have a very special collection that I built up, and I watched the director's cut of Bible Man, Jesus Our Savior, the two-parter, edited into one.
Oh,
yes. Which
director's cut? Yeah.
So I was very intrigued. but also like there were some funny new additions and extended scenes, but also they cut out the previously on at the start, and they cut out the ending where Bible Man goes out and addresses the people one more time, and hints at maybe retiring.
Lame.
So yeah, it was kind of trash in the end.
We should make our own Bible Man episode.
See, I thought about it because, like, just make the gritty Bible Man reboot.
Exactly.
Yeah,
everyone's doing it. Spider-Man Lotus.
Did you say Spider-Man Lotus?
Yeah, I wanted to trigger somebody out there.
What the fuck is that?
That's me. Joe knew how to trigger me. That was easy.
It's a fan film where like so this is me like not understanding fully because I know it involves Twitter. I believe like the Green Goblin actor was like found out to be a sexual deviant, a assaulter. And the director has apparently like said some racist things and also did nothing about the Green Goblin actor. Like
Dane DeHaan?
No. For Spider-Man Lotus, the fan film.
It's a fan.
Oh, okay.
And it's the Spider-Man actor has like a racist past.
Oh, it's not the director. Oh no, the actor is the writer director. That's right.
Yes.
That's how these work.
And he's a racist.
And it has some big budget behind, but it is. I've never seen such scathing reviews on Letterboxd before. It was insane.
Damn.
It's like some of the harshest things I've ever read. But anyway, yeah. So Spider-Man Lotus is like now like a joke. Like if someone wants to say like they reference a fan film where the fans think they know better than the people making the current stuff, as they say, this is the Spider-Man Lotus of insert fandom here.
That's pretty good.
So
that's pretty good. Do we want to set up homework for us for the next week?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to read The Crooked Man.
Yes, I will finish reading Crooked Man.
Yeah, I'm going to do that for sure because I think that'd be good to discuss, And
of course, recommend Supergirl.
Right.
I think this weekend I'm going to try to see Longlegs that comes out this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, I know we're gonna cover Longlegs on the Fictitious Dark, but I'd love to cover it on the Shuttlecast as well. There's a lot of hype around it.
Yes, I mean they had that thing with the main actress, who by the way is the main girl from It Follows. She dyed her hair, so I didn't recognize her.
I see.
Where they had some gimmick online where they like apparently the take in the movie is the first take where she sees Nicolas Cage as Longlegs. And they had like a thing set up to track her heartbeat, and her heart rate jumped to like 170 when she saw him in the full costume for the first time.
Well, that's cool.
So that's a fun gimmick.
Yeah, there's been some reviews that have compared it favorably to Silence of the Lambs, and that's a fantastic movie. That's easily like a 5-star movie. So
I've heard it compared to Seven.
That's like a 4.5-star movie. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to. But no, Seven, yeah. Silence of the Lambs, like those are both great
Don't
inspiration.
Forget, Fly Me to the Moon's coming out this weekend as well. So head to head there.
Okay.
No one's watching that. It's okay. That's not the homework.
We'll discuss the homework in the chat.
I wanted to say, do you guys want to try to watch in the next week In a Violent Nature?
In a Violent Nature.
I've heard of that.
You have?
I have.
Oh my God, Nathan heard of something. We have to watch it now.
Okay.
That's a Canadian slash. At least horror.
Yeah, it's like a Jason Voorhees type slasher film, but artistically shot through the killer's point of view.
Yeah.
It's like Maniac. Anyway.
I hope it's better than Maniac. Anyway.
Yeah, me too.
I haven't seen Maniac, but
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
Well, gentlemen, I think this is...
That was great.
That was great.
That was great. I'm really glad you joined me for the Shuttlecast. We've been keeping at it. It's been very nice. It's been very lovely.
This was
yes. We're gonna have a bunch more topics next time, which we'll discuss later. But
and don't forget, new videos every Saturday through August. This month in August. Don't forget.
Load it up.
We have so much shit coming out.
Long stuff too.
This weekend is a funny one.
Oh,
pretty good. Okay. But I'm gonna go turn on all my fans now and
there you
die.
Go. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the room that has the AC running. So.
All right, thank you all for. Get in the backyard. Fuck you. Thank you all for shuttling with us. And
make sure to renew your bus pass
and your multi pass.
Yeah, multi-pass. Yeah.
Watch more movies. Watch less superhero movies. You'll be a happy camper.
Remember we said the less superhero shit?
It was only about half the episode this time.
It'll keep going down. Next time, let's just keep it to 40%.
Yes.
I like
and
it.
Then 30,
I like it.
20.
I think keeping it to 20. 15 is a way to keep it relevant with the times, but not to subsume ourselves in it.
Precisely.
Subsume.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's my $10 word for the podcast.